wanting to know. That's right, that's the media. Now the foundation's crumbling. Anyway, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're situated on this great, big, beautiful blue globe floating through the void of Yah's creation. It's Thursday. It's the 16th of October, 2025. And as always, hey, Legacy Media, listen up. You won't be trusted anymore. Yeah, you won't be trusted anymore, and they keep giving us reason not to trust them. Anyway, welcome to the Thursday edition of the WTF Reports. I'm your host, Dave vonKleist, and as always, this broadcast is brought to you in part by the Wave Watch. If you haven't checked it out, what are you waiting for? This is Rife technology, based on Tesla technology. It's a Rife machine you wear on your wrist. And the people that I've talked to that have been using it are thrilled. They really are. So if you haven't checked out the Wave Watch, please do so. Visit our website, TheWTFReports.com. And the sponsors page will have a lot of information there about the Wave Watch. So, hey, check it out. I mean, really, check it out. I think you'll be very pleasantly surprised. Anyway, where do I start? There's so much to get to, and yeah, I call this the WTF Reports because I'm here with the facts. I'm here with the audio receipts. It's not Dave telling you this and that. You're going to hear it directly from the individuals, as they say, directly from the horse's mouth. And so I want to start off. There's something that's a bit concerning. And last week, Dan Bongino made a post. And he was, and I played this, I think it was yesterday or the day before. I'm going to play it again here because this was a bit unnerving. I mean, to hear Dan Bongino choked up and having to search for words. I mean, there was something that was going on, or that is going on with Dan Bongino. I don't know. And for those of you who know Dan Bongino, of course, he had his radio show, and he was all over the Epstein files, the Epstein issue. You know, get the files out there, get them out there. And, of course, Kash Patel was right on board. Pam Bondi was right on board. Yes, as soon as we get in there, the new administration with Trump, yeah, we're going to release everything. It's going to come right out. Well, we're still waiting. We are still waiting. What's holding all this stuff up? And if you recall, right after Dan Bongino got in there, became deputy director of the FBI, remember that news conference that they had, or interview with Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, and they both said, Epstein, he killed himself. Yeah. And the look on their face was just, wait a second, can I really believe you? Is somebody holding you hostage or something? But, of course, there was a total 180. But then again, we've seen a total 180 in a lot of issues in the Trump administration. And a lot of us conservatives, that are, against mass surveillance. We're against mass vaccinations. And now Trump's making deals with what's his name? Albert Bourla from Pfizer, and Peter Thiel from Palantir, and Larry Ellison from Oracle. I mean, what is going on? How come they're all taking a 180? Anyway, I want to go back to this statement that Dan Bongino made. And, maybe he's under a tremendous amount of pressure. So anyway, this is Dan Bongino. I believe this is a week ago, last Thursday. I think he made this statement. Here it is.
I'm really just a little bit overwhelmed. Because, with the show and all the clips and having everybody here, it's the energy kind of just distracts you from the reality of, what's about to happen. And it really hit me this morning. I want you to know how much I love you guys. I mean that. From this point on, if you follow me on deep breath, see? Breathe in, it's easier. My social media accounts are not going to be abandoned, but I won't be posting about politics. It'd be inappropriate during my time. There's understandable restrictions on that, which make perfect sense.
Okay, I'm going to pause it right there. You just heard him say he won't be posting or saying anything about politics, right? And meanwhile, he's choking up. Listening, I mean, you can hear it in his voice. All right, we continue. Just remember, he said, I'm not going to be posting anything more about politics. And that's understandable why. Okay, he continues.
But you can still follow me. I'll be opening up different accounts and official accounts and things like that. But I have to stay out of the political space because it's the right thing to do and it's the rules. And I hope you understand that.
And his eyes were all red like he'd been tearing up and crying.
So I still got a radio show to do, which is crazy. Now I'm going to get through that. So I'll end as I began. I'll see you guys on the other side.
He was choked up when he said that. And what does that mean? I'll see you on the other side. What does that mean? Okay, that was a week ago, Thursday. A week ago, Thursday. Now, yesterday, he put out the following statement. Now, again, you just heard him. He was all choked up, and he says, I don't know what I'm going to do about my radio show, and, I'm not going to be talking about politics, and I'll see you on the other side. All right? Now, here's a statement he made yesterday.
Listen to me. Trump is being hunted by professionals who know exactly what they're doing. And because I hate teases, is the Secret Service compromised? Now, I know you say, well, Dan, you brought that up last week. Is there a mole, whether intentional or unintentional, in the Secret Service? I'll talk about that. But someone, let's just say who can be trusted, I spoke to last week at the end of the week, has informed me that their communication system for the Secret Service may be almost entirely compromised. In other words, people trying to hunt and kill Donald Trump may know more about what Donald Trump is doing than Donald Trump is doing. Folks, we got a serious problem. And the problem is the people in charge of the Secret Service right now are not serious people. The people at the top are too busy trying to cover up their own role in the substandard security plan for President Trump. Nothing is going to change. We are in real trouble. I'm not trying to scare anyone. I'm not trying to panic anyone. I'm trying to tell you this isn't over. You thought it was over after the first one? We had the second one. You thought it was over after the second one? Folks, there's more. He is being hunted.
Okay, so now he's speaking out. What does he mean he's being hunted? That President Trump is being hunted. What's he trying to say? Are they setting the table? Are they planting the seed that something might happen? We've seen so many turnarounds. Like I was just saying, we saw Kash Patel and Dan Bongino do a total 180. We've seen Pam Bondi do a total 180. We're still waiting for arrests. We're still waiting to see somebody, anybody. They brought up charges. Yes, they got indictments, and yeah. Nobody has been perp walked yet. We don't see any orange jumpsuits or ankle bracelets or handcuffs. We don't see any of that stuff. And they've totally turned around on the Epstein files. Okay, what is going on? How is it that these people are doing a 180? I don't know. Do you know? Anyway, as always, the phone lines are open here if you want to join the conversation. I got a ton of stuff to get to today, but if you want to call in, you're welcome to do so. It's 215-867-8255. Okay, that said, now, moving into related topics, I want to go back a few years because those of you who know my history, I've been doing this for, 30 years-ish. Yeah, absolutely 30 years, 1995 when I was on WATR. But I befriended, back in 1995, I befriended Ted Gunderson. Now, Ted Gunderson was an FBI agent extraordinaire, and he began to do some research into the satanic cults and the trafficking that was going on. Okay, and I'm bringing this up simply because of the fact that this Epstein thing involves trafficking. Okay, and we are coming up on a big satanic holiday, with Halloween. But anyway, I wanted to share with you just a few words from Ted Gunderson. And like I said, I befriended him back in '95 during the Oklahoma City bombing investigation, and in the years that followed. I was traveling all over the country, speaking engagements, et cetera, and many of those included Ted Gunderson. Many times we were at the same hotel, And after the discussion or the event or whatever, we'd end up back at the hotel room sitting, having a bite to eat and a drink or something. And then we'd sit and we'd talk for hours, folks. And I got myself an education and a half. I was tumbling down the rabbit hole in those years, finding out stuff that I had no idea existed, stuff that shocked me right to the very core of my soul. But anyway, I'm going to share with you a little bit about what Ted Gunderson had to say. Here he is.
I was an FBI agent from December 10, 1951, until I retired March the 30th, 1979. At the time of my retirement, I was in charge of most of Southern California. I had over 700 personnel under my command, budget of $22.5 million. I had 16 offices that I was responsible for. I had a fantastic career. In the old days, the FBI was a great organization. Unfortunately, as I said a few moments ago, it's been infiltrated by the Satanic cult, Illuminati movement, as well as other agencies like the NSA and the CIA and so forth. And I'll go more into detail on that in a minute. In my FBI career, I point this out to you because I'm establishing credibility. I do have credibility. I was one of the top executives in the FBI in my day. As a matter of fact, I was interviewed for the directorship in 1975 by Attorney General Griffin Bell's people. Of course, they didn't want me. It's very obvious because I'm rather outspoken.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Come back here, we got a problem. Long story short, this involved an illegal government drug operation, satanic cults. They were taking children out of Boys Town, orphanages, foster homes in Omaha, driving them to Sioux City, Iowa, 184 miles away, placing them in private jets and flying to Washington, D.C. for sex orgies with congressmen and senators. What better way to get a congressman and a senator and tell them how to vote? I personally talked to the photographer of the group, Rusty Nelson, and what Rusty did, he was ordered to take pictures of the congressmen and senators in order to blackmail them. That's what's happening in Washington today, by the way, with a number of them.
Okay, I'm going to pause that for a minute. Okay, now this recording goes back, I think it's about 12 or 13 years. In other words, this has been going on for a long, long, long time, folks. It's not just Epstein. There are many, many, many other Epsteins out there. He's just the one that's in the spotlight right now. It's sort of like throwing the dog a bone, Let the people think that there's something, being uncovered, and yet they're not uncovering it. Anyway, let's continue with Ted. Here he is.
And then what Rusty did, he put his own film in every once in a while because he realized that there was a problem and would be a problem down the road. And so he had these pictures. And one time, again, I can't go into a lot of detail, I don't have time, but I told Rusty, I said, let's go find them. He hid these pictures in the mountains in Colorado. And one time, Pat Shannon and I went out in the mountains to look for the pictures. We didn't find any. We had several interesting experiences there. This is the Franklin cover-up case. This involved satanic cults, involved kidnapping children. Led me to an organization in Washington, D.C. known as the Finders. The Finders is a CIA covert operation that's been operating since the early 1960s. And they were exposed in 1987 because of some of the work that I did and some other individuals did. I have a report which is listed in here called The Finders. The documents that this Finders organization was a CIA covert operation.
Okay. So there's a little bit of background on Ted, and I have another clip here I'm going to share with you. Let's continue on to this on this particular topic. Here's Ted Gunderson again.
If you would check the satanic calendar, this covert operation. It's satanic. It's Illuminati. Okay, we're in a spiritual war.
Yes.
If you check the calendar, the satanic holidays, you'll see that the big holidays are the summer solstice, June 21st. Halloween, October 31st, and the winter solstice. In the back of this pamphlet, I have the list of the satanic holidays. I also have a collage of some of the world's leaders who pictures of them giving the internationally recognized satanic sign, the satanic sign, the hook 'em horns sign, okay? This is among my research.
Okay, so he was digging into the satanic cults and the satanic churches that were popping up all over the country decades ago. All right. Now, I don't think it's hard to see what's been going on with the media, with the music industry, with the movie industry, and pro sports with their halftime games, with satanic imagery. I mean, Taylor Swift has been out there doing this, and we see Lady Gaga. I mean, it's in your face, all this Satanism and imagery of demons and devils and stuff like that, okay? So, and I'm not making this stuff up. You know it's true. I mean, I don't have to pull it up. And you can do your own search. As a matter of fact, if you do a search put in the words Moloch and Baal, B-A-A-L, sacrifice, and then look for some videos. And you'll see that there, back in 1930s, I think it was 1933 or something, there was this big convention or something, and they had this huge metal statue of Moloch and the bull, and they sacrificed a child into this bull. Okay, I mean, this stuff goes on. You could say I'm crazy. Oh, that's a conspiracy theory. Okay, fine. Yeah, that phrase is worn out. But the bottom line here is there is some very, very evil stuff going on, and it's in plain sight. As a matter of fact, they just celebrated Rosh Hashanah. I played this, was it yesterday or the day before? And here is, again, this is at a temple, and they are celebrating Rosh Hashanah, and there was a woman there. I don't know if she's a rabbi or not, but listen carefully to what she had to say. Now, again, this is supposed to be, the celebration, Rosh Hashanah, Judaism, old school, and the way I understand it, the Jews and Christians have the same God, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, okay? Same 10 Commandments, same Old Testament pretty much. And anyway, but listen to what she says here carefully. Listen to the words that she says. Here she is.
The greatest lie humanity tells itself is that we have outgrown human sacrifice.
Oh, stop right there. Did you hear what she just said? Let's listen to that. There's a couple times I'm going to pause. Let it sink in what she's saying. Here it is again.
The greatest lie humanity tells itself is that we have outgrown human sacrifice.
What?
We call it by different names now.
What do you call it by?
And make our offering to different gods.
Our offering to different gods? I thought that the commandment was, thou shalt have no other gods before me. What's going on?
We offer young men we call soldiers, as if the designation means that their mothers cry less when they die.
So we're offering our soldiers. That's like a sacrifice. That's our offering. Here's our soldiers.
We call masses of humanity collateral damage.
Oh, okay. Collateral damage. Interesting.
And turn our eyes away from the pictures of their lifeless bodies as we sip our morning coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And the truth is, we don't do it because we are heartless.
Why do you do it?
We do it because we believe that it is necessary for the world to keep running.
What? What? Do you hear what she's saying? Let's hear some more.
We do it because we believe that the gods whose favor we so desperately seek.
The gods whose favor we so desperately seek. Is your jaw open yet?
Freedom, security, prosperity, flourishing. That they demand blood as the price of their favor. We do it because we cannot see any other choice.
What?
And maybe that's why we read the Akedah, the binding of Isaac, on Rosh Hashanah. Because the story of the Akedah isn't about inconceivable obedience. When Abraham prepares to sacrifice Isaac, he is just accepting the same bargain of blood we still accept today. That some need to die for the world to flourish.
Okay. Are you out of breath from gasping? Oh, seriously. And I'm not making this stuff up, folks. I mean, I'm not stupid. I'm not crazy, and I don't lie. I'm putting out here these audio receipts so you can hear. These are, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. But I do want to say that there are a lot of people now that are, we're all being forced to go back to Scripture. With the political climate that's going on and what's going on with Israel and what's going on with the quote-unquote noticing that's going on, people are trying to figure out, wait a minute, we're in a spiritual war, and I don't think anybody can deny that at this point. Everybody's saying it. If we're in a spiritual war, we have to identify which is which. Who are the good guys, who are the bad guys, who's in the light and who's in the darkness. Now, a lot of people, myself included, I've been going back to the Bible and Scripture and going and rereading some of this stuff, and given the events of the past several years, some of those Scriptures take on a whole new meaning. A lot of people are referring to Revelation 2:9 and 3:9. And as a matter of fact, here, I'll share them with you. Revelation 2:9, and I read, it says, and these are the words of Jesus, I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. Okay, let me stop there. Now, who do you think he's talking about? Who is the rich group in our society now? Who's got all the money? Who's in charge of the banks? Okay, all right, I'm going to do this again. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. All right, that's Revelation 2:9. Now I'm going to look at Revelation 3:9, because I'm going to refer to this in a second here. And this says, I read, behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. Okay, so that's Revelation 2:9 and 3:9. I wanted to share that with you because somebody posted the following, and they were referring to Revelation 2:9 and 3:9. And here's the spin. Here it comes. Listen up.
There's been a lot of enveloped irony here. So many people have been coming at Jewish people, and they've been validating it with Scripture, abusing Scripture, particularly in Revelation 2:9 and 3:9, where Jesus is calling a certain group of Jews the synagogue of Satan. But here's what the ironic part is. So he wasn't talking to all Jewish people. He was talking to a small sect of Jewish people that were abusing the identity of a covenant identity as Jewish people.
Okay, I'm going to stop it right there. She said a small group who were basically hijacking the identity, right? Well, let's refer back to the Johns Hopkins University ancestry study that was done a year ago, 2024, in March. Again, I remind you, they did an ancestry study and found that 97.5% of the Israelis are not indigenous. They are from Eastern Europe or North America. Now, when I say Eastern Europe, of course, I'm talking about the region we now know as Ukraine. But that area, years and years and years ago, was known as Khazaria, the Khazars or the Khazars. And that's where the Ashkenazi come from. And they adopted Judaism. They were not Jews, but they basically wrapped themselves in the Israeli flag or in the Star of Moloch, whatever. And they basically put themselves out there as Jews, but they are not. Okay? And that represents, again, according to Johns Hopkins University, 97.5% of Israelis are not indigenous. They did the same ancestry study with the Palestinians and found that 80% of them are indigenous. The Palestinians are the Semites. The Israelis are not. So I'm sorry, sweetheart, you said a very small percentage. No, it's the other way around. It's the other way around. What else did she have to say? Here it is.
To basically license and do whatever they want. They weren't exhibiting the fruits of the Spirit. They weren't acting out the Scriptures in their daily life. And in the same exact way, this Ironically, this scripture, these two scriptures that you guys keep abusing to go after Jewish people, are applied to you as you guys are calling yourselves Christians. Is if you're calling yourself Christians and thinking that this is a license for you to hate Jewish people.
No, it's not to hate Jewish people. It's to hate the imposters. The Zionists, they are the imposters.
God's saying the same thing to you. You're not living out my principles. You're not doing this in love, as it calls in Corinthians. If you don't do it in love, then you're just a clanging cymbal, a creaky gate. You're annoying. You're not converting anybody.
Okay, well, see how that was flipped, how she turned that around? Okay, I'm sorry. It's right there in the scripture, and that's what it says. And it's right in our faces if we can look at the history of the Ashkenazi and the Khazarians, the Khazarian Mafia. It's all right there. And, even Jews are admitting to their iniquities. Larry David was on the Saturday Night Live. Oh, gosh, I don't know. This is a couple years ago, I guess it was. But again, Larry David, he's a comedian. He's been, in sitcoms and everything. Very Jewish guy. And he was on Saturday Night Live, and he said the following.
So, a lot of sexual harassment stuff in the news of late. And I couldn't help but notice a very disturbing pattern emerging, which is that many of the predators, not all, but many of them, are Jews.
Oh, that's real funny, yeah. Let's see, Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, yeah. Oh, okay, makes sense, doesn't it? And everybody thinks it's funny.
And I have 3 words to say to that.
What's that?
Oy vejmir.
Yeah, oy vejmir. No, I mean, they admit it. They really do. But anyway, okay, we got a phone caller. Let's go to the phones. Okay, welcome to the program. Who are you and where the heck are you?
I'm Mike, and I'm in Connecticut still.
Oh, hi, Mike. Welcome to the show.
Okay, everybody knows that I help Dave with the radio show, and I have to interrupt this important broadcast with this important message. We have bills to pay. We're asking for all our favorite listeners. You guys write us, you email us, you call us, you tell us you love us, but we need some support. We have a nut to pay by the end of next week. And on our website, there's a link to our GoFundMe page. Any amount will help, but people, if you want to keep Dave on the air and you want to keep hearing him, we need some financial help. So buy one of our products, buy a T-shirt, get a hat, just send us cash. We need $500 by the end of next week. I know you guys can do it. We know you love Dave because we get the emails and the phone calls, but we're asking you for your help this month. So that's it. Our GoFundMe page, you can find us on GoFundMe. Just look for the WTF reports. There's a button on the top of the website. You can buy merch. You can buy products on the website. But please help us out this month so we can keep Dave going, because he is the best source for what's going on in the world and why.
Oh, bless your heart. I appreciate that, Mike. Thanks.
Okay, God, please bless this call. Okay, back to the show.
Okay, thanks, Mike. All right, yeah, that's my buddy Mike. I've known him for, 35-ish years, and he's been a big help through the years. And yeah, he's right. I don't feel right about asking for money. I've seen what money does to people, okay? And if people are out there broadcasting or, being any part of a movement, I was very entrenched with the 9/11 Truth movement, and I became disillusioned when I saw so many people who were in it for the money or the accolades and the ego stroke. And that's not why I'm here, okay? It's not about that. And I always feel uncomfortable about that. I mean, that's what happened to the Power Hour. I mean, we were doing great with the Power Hour back in the 2000s. But the money has a tendency to corrupt people, and that's sort of what happened. And I did not like it, and so that's why I ended up saying, "That's it. it ain't going to happen anymore. So, yes, we could use your financial support. If you'd like to make a donation, there's a GoFundMe on our website, or you can look us up on GoFundMe, TheWTFReports.com. And like Mike said, hey, get some merch. We got baseball caps, T-shirts, coffee mugs with the logo, the WTF Reports. And we also, of course, we don't have a whole lot of products that we're selling, but that's only because I don't feel comfortable hawking stuff that I don't believe in. I mean, there's plenty of other broadcasters out there that are selling, all kinds of stuff, the herbal supplements and, storable foods. And, I'm not going to go down that. I'm not going to allow myself to become a commercial whore. But we do need funding. We do need sponsorship. And so if you want to help us out, that would be a wonderful thing. Anyway, getting back to the program here, and again, you can always call in, too. You're always welcome to do that. The phone number here is 215-867-8255. So anyway, as I was discussing a little while ago, Ted Gunderson and I, we spent many, many, many hours discussing, what was going on with the human trafficking, the satanic cults that are popping up all over the place, and also, again, we have to distinguish the difference between Zionism and Judaism. I'm not here to condemn all Jews. I do not hate Jews, okay? I hate the imposters who call themselves Jews, but they're not Jews. And it's by their deeds. What was it? He said, by your fruits I shall know ye, okay? It's what people do, not what they say. And I'm sorry, I look at the regime in Israel, and after hearing what I just played for you from Rosh Hashanah, I mean, we have to say, wait a second, what was this woman talking about? The gods? We have to make sacrifices? I mean, this goes back to the Druids and the Canaanites. I mean, this is, predates the Old Testament. This is the belief system that they had. And just because Moses came down with the 10 Commandments, what did he find? The people had reverted back to worshiping a bull, a cow. Oh, the bull. Oh, that's Baal worship. Yeah, human sacrifice. So along came the Old Testament, and that was supposed to go away. All that Baal worshiping and human sacrifice, that was going to go away. No, it didn't. It went underground, and it's still around today. Anyway, we have a caller. Caller, hello. Welcome to the show. Who are you?
Hi, Cynthia from California.
Oh, Cynthia, thank you. Thank you for calling. And by the way, I do get your emails. I'm sorry I don't respond, but I appreciate you sending over that information. So what do you got today?
Well, I just wanted to say that out of curiosity, once I went to a rabbi lesson, synagogue, and in the North Bay, California. Yeah. And he explained that on the 10 Commandments, no other gods before me. There were many gods in the Old Testament. They didn't have just one God. And these possibly are perhaps an alien race that controlled humans at one point in time directly, and that they were supposed to choose only that one God to put before all the other gods. Mm-hmm. So I dispute the fact that we're taught that Judaism is that they worship the Creator God. They worshiped the higher intelligence, higher technology race of possibly non-human, right? And they have not have been human, most likely were not. Mm-hmm. That controlled them. So we don't really have a Judeo-Christian. That is a false approach.
Well, you're talking about the Anunnaki, right?
No.
Not the Anunnaki? No?
No.
Oh, okay.
So we're being taught that we're following a similar tradition, and we're not. We're not, because Jesus did not come here to represent this entities that were ruling over us. He came to represent, I believe, the Creator God, the Creator that created everybody, that created everything. And that's different than a bunch of highly intelligent, highly technology entities that were competing for control of humans to basically sacrifice meant you sacrificed a child because they were cannibalistic.
Mm-hmm.
The Homo capensis comes to mind. You've heard of the Homo capensis?
I have heard of it. I haven't delved into it. No.
The really long skulls that are different skulls than humans. Their suture lines are different.
Yeah, I've seen the photographs. Yeah, they've uncovered a lot of those in Peru, in South America.
Right, and they had they finally got DNA extracted out of it, and it's not human DNA.
Correct.
It is. It does have Rh negative blood, apparently, and appears to be copper-based metabolism instead of iron-based. So
yeah, Dr. Stephen Greer has covered a lot of that in his documentaries. There was one of them, what was it called? Unacknowledged, I think it is. It's called. It's a good documentary on the subject. Yeah, go ahead.
This puts the lie to the Christian Zionist movement that they are not worshiping the same God as Christians who are maybe not Zionists. And it's very complex. They have made religion into a political thing, and so I just want to throw that out there. And then for fundraising, I still want you to look at methylene blue and find us a valid source of the powdered product that we can buy it from you and be supporting you that way.
Okay, well, if you find a reliable source, I mean, it's hard to work your way through it because there's a lot of bogus products or copycat products out there. So that's one of the reasons why I haven't jumped on board with that. But I know that even Mel Gibson's been talking about that too.
But you said you had a source who can do research for you and find valid product.
I may have dropped the ball on that. I've been just real busy. So. And like I said, trying to find products to hawk on the radio show is not my forte. I'm just,
I know, but you do need support, and we also need product. And the news that's come out that they have traced the funding of the chemtrails to Israel.
Yeah.
And in efforts to control human behavior.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is why this is why I'm having a real problem with all these people who are undyingly supporting Israel just blindly. Even Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz said the following. Here
I condemn nothing that the Israeli government is doing.
Yeah, he condemns nothing that they're doing. Everything's A-OK as far as Ted Cruz is concerned. Yeah, go ahead and snipe those children. Yeah, go ahead and starve the Palestinians. Yeah, go ahead and put the food out there. When they come to get it, shoot at them. Yeah, that's okay. I support everything that they do. Yeah. Thank you, Ted.
Well, they've had control mechanisms installed in humans possibly for a couple of decades. And that's the Morgellons issue, that the Morgellons is in your body, and then it goes out of control and starts creeping out like a cancer.
Mm-hmm.
That may be the same entity as the, oh my gosh, what was her name? I told you about the scientist who was saying that you could break down whatever they were installing with the use of methylene blue. I think it was with the methylene blue.
I'm not recalling that.
Anna Mahalcia. Yeah. She has a Substack, and it's a free Substack. People can go to it and look around. And other scientists or other voices are trying to discredit her, but I think she's onto something. It may not have been the vax that installed it. It may be the vax that augmented it.
Mm-hmm.
But the Morgellons, we know, has been around for a while.
Yeah, I wrote a song about that 20-odd years ago. It was all about the chemtrails and a lot of Gulf War veterans were infected with Morgellons disease, and sometimes it manifests in these little tiny. They look like oily hairs that pop out of your skin. And these guys, when we talked to these vets, man, they were just beside themselves. Their whole body felt like it was crawling with worms, and they were popping out. It's horrible stuff. They call it Morgellons disease.
Well, if the methylene blue is indeed as safe as they say it is, and we can get pure product, and it's not very expensive at all. I can tell. You just have to be assured of getting quality product. Then we will actually restore health in our veterans.
Yeah.
Because damage to your mitochondria is a known problem, except the doctors don't know. It turns out, I had a friend in the hospital recently dying of cancer, and he was aspirating. And I pointed out to them that if they would just give him some CoQ10, that would probably improve, so he didn't have to die of, pneumonia from aspirin, which is a horrible way to die. Not that cancer is ever a pleasant way to die, but they had no knowledge of it. And these were current training people here in San Francisco. And so I discovered when researching around that beta blockers, which are frequently used in blood pressure or heart rate control, and the cholesterol-lowering drugs have been known for a long time to damage your body's ability to produce CoQ10. I used it back in 2003 when I had brain damage that my doctors had let progress because they failed to recognize it. And I reversed a lot of the issues with my brain function with the cubiquinone I bought at Sam's Club in 2003. And think about it, in 20 years, and the doctors are still not current on it. And your body can learn to produce it itself if you repair your mitochondria. We might help a lot of people with a very cheap, safe substance.
All right, well, let's, okay, I'm going to see if we can't put this closer to the front burner here. We'll start doing some research on methylene blue, because it would probably be a good thing to be able to have in our catalog here on the website. So
you want the powder version, though, because it keeps better, and that way people who are stocking up for grid down scenarios can have it on hand longer. Thank you very much, Dave.
Oh, no, thank you. And drop me an email. If you find a reliable source with a good quality product, let me know. Drop me an email.
I don't think Mike Adams is carrying it yet, and that may be worth a call to him to find out why, because he's able to evaluate the quality of the product. He's got a state lab, which I beg him to franchise. So
I should get in touch with him. I'm going to give it a shot. If anybody has a way to get in touch with him, let me know. So anyway, hey, Cynthia, thank you so much for adding to the program. And we'll check into the methylene blue and see if we can't find a good source for it.
Okay.
All right, my dear. God bless. You have a good one.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah. We definitely want to see if we can find a couple of good products. Like I said, I'm not comfortable, asking for money. I'm not comfortable trying to hawk products. I'm not about the money. I'm not about the ego stroke. That's why I basically threw the towel in back in 2009. Said, no, I'm not doing this anymore. I didn't want to be Dave vonKleist anymore. I didn't want to be the patriotic balladeer and the documentary producer and the radio talk show host and, the super patriot and all that kind of stuff, because I got to see firsthand how many people had been corrupted. And I said, this is, I'm just one guy. I can't go up against all this, and, but anyway. So, but I'm back in the saddle here, and but I'm not doing it because I feel that the ego. I need the ego stroke, or I'm not getting rich. That's for sure. I'm living on my Social Security and whatever I can do, get from playing local venues when I go and play gigs, playing guitar. Anyway, aside from that, I wanted to get back on topic here because I've been saying for so many years that people, unfortunately, the overwhelming majority of Americans are just brain dead. And they just don't want to know, and what is it? The scripture says that there are none so blind than those with eyes that will not see. And there are none so deaf than those with ears that will not hear. Notice it doesn't say cannot, it says will not. It's a matter of choice. And when you stick your head in the ground, your butt's exposed. And that's unfortunate, but that's where most of Americans are. We've been trained to be that way. Bill Cooper, and I was talking about him on yesterday's show, I mean, he basically spelled it out when he said the following.
It's the Roman circus. What does the emperor do when the people become restive, and when the people are asking questions, and when the people don't like the policies of the emperor? He sends them to the circus. He creates a circus. He builds a giant coliseum. And he begins to throw the Christians to the lions. And he has great chariot races. and football games and basketball games, all to keep the idiots preoccupied with things that don't mean anything in the scheme of the entire world, so that they don't have the time to learn what the truth is, so they don't ever get smart enough to learn how they're being manipulated, so they don't ever question the emperor. That's why they pay a player on a football team or a baseball team $1 million or $2 million or $3 million a year. It is the Roman circus. I know men who don't know anything in the world except who plays third base for the Mets, and they think that's a great accomplishment. And they meet and pat each other on the back and bond and go have cocktails and talk about what this guy that plays third base for the Mets did in last night's game. It's sad.
Yeah,
it is sad.
It is sad, because I'm sure you've all seen the basketball. Let's try it again. Football games in the dead of winter, and winter's coming upon us now. And you see these fans in the stands, and they're shirtless. They're out there in 20 degrees weather, and they painted their bodies their team colors. You know, I mean, my gosh, look at the effort and the money that they spend to worship their favorite team. And it's not just the football. It's the same thing with baseball. We're watching it go on right now with the playoffs. Now, I'm not condemning people that watch sports. I enjoy watching a good ball game now and then. But I mean, this is not my priority. No. But there are people out there who are such diehard fans, and like Bill Cooper was saying, they're proud of the fact that they know all the stats of the best players on their team. And you also may have noticed that he was talking about what their salaries were like. You know, and he was saying they get $2 or $3 million a year. That recording is probably 15 years old, and now these professional sports individuals, they're getting $20 million, $25 million. You look at how much money that these people get paid, and then understand that the more money you're paid, it's an indication as to how valuable that position is towards the globalist agenda. Okay? Think about school teachers. Okay, what's their salary like? Teachers are, as far as I'm concerned, teachers are the most valuable profession, because we are putting our future in their hands, our children. They help to mold the minds of our coming generation. That's why teaching is so important. And yet you look at the salary, and they are paid very low. Teachers are mistreated, and a lot of these teachers, they have to pay out of their own pockets so the kids can have crayons and stuff like that. And then you look at the Department of Education. Don't get me started on that. People are screaming, "Oh, you can't stop the Department of Education." And the Department of Education is responsible for dumbing down this country. I don't know. I mean, don't mean to get off on a tangent about that, but anyway, getting back to this whole principle about this. I started off the program talking about Dan Bongino and how people are being flipped, and what is the influence? What are people being blackmailed? Maybe it's one of those 3 magic words:
bribery, coercion, blackmail.
Yeah, blackmail. Okay, we get back onto that subject. But, and there's a certain group that's behind it. Yeah, now who would that be? And again, we get into this discussion about the imposters. Yeah, those, and that's what, Revelation 2:9, 3:9, and it's also in John, was it 8:44, I think it is, where Jesus is talking to the Pharisees who had corrupted themselves. As a matter of fact, let me see if I could pull that up here. So that wasn't the... excuse me, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Let's see, John. Okay, where it is. Oh, I went right by it. Okay, John 8:44. Where is it? Okay, yeah. John. Okay, here it is. John 8:44. Ye are of your father the devil, and the lusts of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. Okay, so we know that there are people out there that call themselves something, but they are not. I mean, it's over and over and over again. And again, if it's deeds and not words, you judge people by their fruits. As a matter of fact, there was a Russian who was sharing a story from 1941, and he was reading from a diary or a journal or something like that. And this is one of the experiences that the Russians had during World War II. Listen to this. This is terrible.
In 1941, the Germans forced us to dig a long, deep trench. And after we did what they wanted, they brought a group of Jews and threw them into the trench. And the Germans ordered us to bury them alive. We firmly, these are the Russian prisoners, we firmly rejected this disgusting act. The Germans ordered us to take the Jews out from the trench, and they threw us into the trench instead of the Jews. And they ordered the Jews to bury us alive. We were shocked when the Jews began to bury us without hesitation. The Jews almost covered us when the Germans stopped them and pulled us out. And we were surprised by the German commander who shouted at us, "We wanted to show you, to prove to you who the Jews are. They are ungrateful, merciless, and without love."
Now who is he referring to? Talking about the Ashkenazis, the Ashkenazi Jews, not the Judaics, okay? So this is why there's a huge difference between the real Jews and the ones who call themselves Jews. And I mean, and I'm telling my own personal experience, and from what I've seen, it's not hard to figure that out. As a matter of fact, Roger Stone, remember Roger Stone? Yeah, he got arrested. Okay, well, he met Netanyahu some time ago, and here's what Roger Stone had to say about Benjamin Netanyahu.
Netanyahu's a madman, and I repeat that. To me, he's a madman. I met him years ago. I interviewed him when he was out of office, and I thought he was a madman then, and I think he's gotten worse and worse and worse. He's truly insane. I've never seen such a slaughter, justifying it like this with as revenge. And how do you wipe out a political movement? It's never been done in the history of the world. I mean, how are you going to kill off everybody? What do you do? Separate them? Send them to Egypt? What? The whole solution. And what was sickening to me was when Biden went over there and hat in hand and money in hand to give him what he wanted. We can't do this. We can't do that. We cannot constantly support Israel. We have to say, no, we'll cut them off. Cut off everything to them right now.
Okay, now that statement was about 2 years ago. Okay, now a lot has transpired since that time. But anyway, well, see, he called it, and what happened? He got himself arrested. I wonder who was influential on that particular effort. Anyway, I had so much more I wanted to get to today, but I don't know. There's no shortage of material. That's for doggone sure. Every single day, there's something else. It's like a never-ending soap opera, day after day. What's going to happen today? What's going to happen tomorrow? I don't know. Meanwhile, the markets are going crazy. Gold is like well over $4,000 now. It's like $42.50, something like that. Silver's up to like $54. Oh, my goodness. What's going on with the markets? Anyway, okay. I'll start getting ready for tomorrow's Friday show. We'll take it from there. I so much appreciate your listenership, and if you are listening on Rumble or BitChute or YouTube or Facebook or whatever, don't forget to click like, share, subscribe, and spread the word. Word of mouth is the best way to do it. And if you're enjoying the broadcast, please support us. Yeah, you can make a donation through the GoFundMe or buy some merch. That'll be a big help. That said, we're out of time. God bless you all, and I will see you tomorrow.
Now.